Hi again. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller, and today I'm going to be doing one of my brand research videos. I was talking to my friend Beth this morning and I was like, what should I pick? And she said, why don't you pick Folkmanis? Because in several conversations we've had, she finds them quite often and I very seldom find them. So I don't know if it's a regional thing. She's way up northeast. You know, I'm Tennessee, but I hardly ever find them, and every time I turn around she's sending me a picture. So I thought, let's do Folkmanis, because you know, sometimes you might not know what they look like, because they look like a normal plush for the most part, a lot of times, unless they're like the finger puppets. But they look like regular plush until you pick them up. It's time to go do file maintenance on eBay. I have to set a timer to remind myself. Now I remember what I was going to say. A lot of times the plush look just like regular plush. A lot of times they're full-bodied, which means they have arms and legs and the whole body, and they just look like a plush until you realize there's a hand hole, and then you realize it's a puppet. So I picked some. I think they range from about $40 up. But pretty much anything, any animal, fish, insect, bird, there's probably a Folkmanis puppet for it. There's so many, and they're such nice quality. So I thought I'd just go ahead and share some with you to be on the lookout for. Me personally, I pick up all puppets pretty much, except for like maybe the really rinky-dink ones that kind of came from like Dollar General. But the Folkmanis are probably, for me, some of the best puppets out there. So how I do my research. What I normally do is I go into eBay. All of this is going to be from eBay. I go in, I do a general search. The more keywords you have, the less likely you're going to pull up everything. So I only did Folkmanis. They're going to be puppets, but I'm going to leave that word out. And then I sort by used, because in actuality, we're going to find used puppets at yard sales, thrift stores, estate sales. So I filter on used items only, and then I sort by highest price plus shipping. And then that way I can go through them. But then I also open up Terapeak. Terapeak for two reasons. I can find out what the actual price that it's sold for is. Because a lot of times, even though you might see $60, it really sold for $45. And so I can check on Terapeak for that. But also Terapeak usually will show me if, I scroll a little, if immediately I can see where it got relisted again. So I know that that wasn't a real sale. And then once I find it in Terapeak, then I go into that person's store. I go into their feedback. I try to see if any feedback was left, because those are the ones you know for sure that it was an actual sale. But too many buyers do not leave feedback. So then I go into their store. If I don't find feedback, go into their store and make sure it hasn't been relisted, which I did find some of those today. So on each of the screens, you're going to see either a plus feedback, means they did receive positive feedback, or you're going to see no feedback. I pretty much think most of them are going to be actual transactions. If it didn't get paid for, more than likely they would be relisted. I would see it in Terapeak if it's sold again. I try to check all of this stuff. But, we don't know for sure that it was an actual sale. But none of these are like the Thai beanies where it's $10,000. So, all right, now let's go ahead and get to it. I just kind of picked a bunch of variety. Probably one of the first Folkmanises I ever found was one of these large dragons. It was just so unique. I just knew it was something, and then I realized it was Folkmanis. I wished I had, I'll have Robert throw up what a Folkmanis tag looks like. I forgot, I was going to do it, and then I forgot before I got started on this. Sometimes they'll say Folkmanis, and sometimes they'll say like Folkmanis Folktales. But this one sold for $40, and the buyer did leave positive feedback. And it's kind of hard to tell on here, but these Folkmanis puppets, they can either be finger puppets where they're very little, or they can be, you know, 2 feet, if not larger. So I just encourage you, when you're looking at stuffed animals, pick them up, make sure they're not a puppet. I didn't realize they had Winnie the Pooh. I love Winnie the Pooh. This is an 18-inch puppet, sold for $40. Again, I won't keep saying it, but you'll see there it says no feedback was left for the seller. Koala bear and a baby. It also sold for $40. Look how cute that is. They look realistic to me. Probably not life size, but a lot of times they look very realistic. Very good quality. This is a snow leopard. Again, it's a full body, 22 inches. Just very nice, very sweet. This one sold for $44. See, you could be looking at that and not even realize that it's a puppet. This is a woolly mammoth, 20 inches, so yes, it's very large also. It sold for $45. I hadn't seen the Folkmanis like people. I even saw a baby one, but here's a Hobo Clown. But they also do have like ones that look like cartoony kids. This is again 24 inches, sold for $45. Grizzly Bear. I'm pretty sure I've had one of these before. This one they did put Folktales and Folkmanis in the title. It sold for $46.73. A lot of times you can pick these up at yard sales and thrift stores for $1 or $2. This one is the Big Bad Wolf. There are several that series that I noticed in the research that are like characters, cartoon characters. This one sold for $49.95. Just very cute. This is a crane or a bird. Again, 24 inches. I'm assuming when it's stretched out, top of the head to the feet, it sold for $49.99. This is a cheetah, 15 inches tall. It sold for $50. Here's another dragon. It says Wyvern hand puppet. A lot of times the tag will also tell you what the animal is. Sometimes you can't tell, but normally the tag will also have the name. This one says Dragon Wyvern, 20 inches. It sold for $49.99. Here is a great white shark. It's 40 inches long, and it sold for $50.99. I think all of these have been buy it now. I don't remember if I saw any that are auction. This is a 25-inch camel. I like how they've got this one standing up. I might have to go see if I can. It probably is a like a doll rack to hold dolls. I've got several of them here. I'm going to have to remember that the next time I have a puppet so that you can get it standing upright instead of just kind of laid over and the limbs all spread out. So good idea for this person. This camel sold for $50. Look at this. This is a quail and its babies. just anything you can imagine. There is probably a puppet for this. This sold for $55. This is large. This is a golden retriever dog. I've had it before. This one sold for $55. This is an opossum. Again, 24 inches. Probably that's nose to the end of the tail. A lot of these have put retired, and OOP I think is out of production. This one sold for $59.97. But again, very lifelike. Insects, this is a dragonfly. Sold for $59.99. Spiders. Don't like spiders. Y'all heard how I react when a spider surprises me in one of my other videos. This one is a glove puppet, so you'll be able to put your whole hand into it and move the limbs. This sold for $59.99. I buy a lot of puppets, and I have certain buyers that tend to come back. They are repeat buyers for me. They put on children's shows. They're librarians. They're preschool teachers or kindergarten teachers. A lot of them like to use these to keep children engaged, especially if they're reading or anything like that. So I hardly ever keep Folkmanis and some other puppets. I don't know if I said. This one sold for $59.99. Here's another bird one, a pelican with a fish in its mouth, sold for $59.99. Look at this very tall ostrich. This is 40 inches. It sold for $60. This one, you can see it had its tag. Look at this lion. Very realistic. 24 inches long. It sold for $60. And then here is Donald Duck. There were lots of them, but a lot of them were brand new. And of course, I tried to only do used. This one sold for $61. A little Ragdoll Cat, 19 inches. This one sold for $63. This is look, it didn't get spelled right, but it still sold. Folkmanis turkey. There were quite a few turkeys. Probably, if you have anything turkey right now, you probably should get it listed because Thanksgiving's right around the corner. This one sold for $64.99. Here is a Roadrunner puppet. It sold for $65. Oh, they've got theirs sitting on a blue cup. That's a good way too. Yeah, I need to do better with my hand puppets by trying to pose them some way. I thought this was cute. It's a troll hand puppet or an ogre. It sold for $65.99. This is a crow. A black crow. It sold for $70. We're getting up there into the more expensive ones. There were just a few of these listed. In fact, a lot of these, especially these higher dollar ones, there weren't a whole lot of them. So I can't ever find them. This is an Airedale Terrier. All things dogs for me do very well, especially when you can name the breed. This one sold for $70. Sloths, love sloths. This is a three-toed sloth. I don't know what the size is, but it sold for $74.99. Here is Remy from, I always say it this way, Ratatouille. I know that's not how it's pronounced, but I just like saying it that way. Ratatouille, the chef. It sold for $75. So definitely, you know, I buy a lot of character plush, and Remy would be one that I pick up because I have found him, even like in Nanco, the brand that I don't really care for, they tend to still do very well. It's just a very popular character. I don't think a whole lot was released when the video came out, so what you find is very collectible for the most part. But I would have picked this up not even realizing it was a puppet. Here's one of the like kids. This is a little boy with black hair. They put in here Ventriloquist. He sold for $80.61. I did see others that were little girls and babies, but I just decided to pick this one. Most of them were less than this, in the 20s and 30s, and I was trying to keep everything, you know, above 40. Look at this, a little blue monster, 15 inches, very cute, $94.99. And then there was this full body witch hand puppet, 24 inches. She sold for $99.95. So definitely keep your eyes out for always Halloween. I didn't see any Christmas. I'm going to have to go look and see if maybe they have any Christmas type plush that are hand puppets. But I didn't see any in all of this. But always check holiday plush. All right, this is, and we're getting into the big bucks. This is an Arctic Fox hand puppet. If you even find an Arctic Fox that, I think it's the Gons Webkins ones, it's one of the highly sought after ones. It's just very popular. I have found it in other brands also and tend to do very well with it. But the Folkmanis one sold for $100. Now this one, let me know if you think this is keyword spamming, because I don't think this is advertised as a puppet that was made for NCIS. I guess Abby, one of the characters on there, had this Bert the farting hippo, but I don't think it was advertised for that, but it became very popular, and almost all of the ones that I saw had NCIS and Abby. I'd be afraid to do that, but it sold for $100, and the buyer did get positive feedback. So if you see the hippo, and I guess it has a sound thing in it that makes it make sounds. These are finger puppets. It was a lot of them, 8 fairies and a gnome. It sold for $105. Best offer. If you see fairies, check them out to see if they're Folkmanis. Now here is a Dodo Bird. It's extremely rare. I don't use those kind of keywords. But I saw lots of them that were saying hard to find and rare and stuff like that. This sold for $105, and the seller received positive feedback. Mickey Mouse. Even Mickey. Mickey is 24 inches. There were lots that were new, but even in used condition, it sold for $124.99. Right here was another set of the people, I'll call them people puppets. This is a grandma and grandpa, 31 inches. They sold for $130. 2 more. This was another one of the dragons. I think originally I saw it's a red dragon, and it supposedly sits on your shoulder. There was another one that had sold for $75, but then I found this one. It's marked used, although it still had its box, and it sold for $140. So I think based on the picture, I think it's like a stick puppet that sits on your shoulder. And it may make sounds because I saw something else that said that it made sounds. And then the big one to share is Goofy, which is kind of funny because when I find Goofy plushes, they don't normally sell very well. You know, Mickey and Minnie, Donald Duck, Daisy. Goofy isn't one, and Pluto is another one that just does not sell well for me. But in the Folkmanis puppet, Goofy seems to be the big winner. It sold for $150. So just crazy. Now I'm going to be watching for all of these again. Hopefully I'll find some. Maybe this will be my good luck. We are leaving this Thursday to go to Nashville, to go to the Goodwill bins. We're going to go ahead and stay the night and just kind of source, you know, the afternoon on Thursday, and then the morning of Friday. I'm going to be participating in Bolo Buddy's bingo game. So I'll be trying to get a lot of footage, finding the stuff to fill out her bingo card. But, you know, I'm hoping maybe I can find a Folkmanis puppet and some of my other treasures that I'm always looking for. You know, a lot of times I walk into places like this and I start ticking off things that I would like to find, you know, maybe another Puffalump or a Jammy Pie. I talk about that one a lot. Or a My Child doll. All of these things, you know, you put it in your mind and hope that you'll find them. So that's what I'll be doing. But hopefully I'll find a nice Folkmanis puppet to share with you guys. But that's it. I'm going to get my what solds together so that we can have everything pre-recorded and scheduled so that we don't have to rush back Friday night and try to get some stuff together. But if you have other brands that you would like me to do some research on, let me know in the comments. You know, I've done some of my favorites, and then this was something that Beth asked for, so, you know, just put a comment down there. Let me know of other brands that you would like. Some of them are hard because there just weren't a whole lot put out under them. You know, everybody knows about Rushton and some of the other brands, but, you know, some of them are hard to find things to share with you guys because they're so unique and there weren't as many made. And then some of the vintage is hard too. But let me know. All right. Bye.